Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? So just a reminder, today is the Avengers Tower coming in, and be sure to be saving your training mats and your gold for the Fresh Horizons, which should be coming in like a couple days or soon or tomorrow or something. I don't know. Check your events tabs. There's some stuff coming up. There's also some training mat multipliers that are in play either right now or coming soon. And then we have the boot camp and all kinds of stuff that you need to be on the watch for. So get into that events tab, check it out. Here at Defense Up, we grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. And almost a sixth, which is people bitch in the comments so much that I have to change my grading scales, but we'll stick with these 5 for right now. Okay, this is Denver's defense. And we're gonna get into team number 1 here. This is the Secret Avengers, but no Kestrel. Now, I like Secret Avengers on offense, and I don't like them on defense because of the summons from Fury and the summons from Maria Hill. And what's worse is there's no Kestrel to give them death proof or defense up when they get summoned. So this is a real liability. A Symbiote's team or an Axemen team is going to be able to punch way up on this. This is a total waste of your Secret Avengers. This is a big no-no. I don't think she's too slow to give them the cover they need from those speed teams. It's a big liability. I think that you should be putting Kestrel on this team, and you should be using this entire team on offense. However, as is, you got healer, striker, raider. Fortifier on her is probably overkill. I don't think you're going to need that. People aren't even going to be targeting her. On her team, yeah, she'd be kind of a target to try and stop her before she puts the barrier up, before she puts people under stealth. But on this team, she's too slow. She might not even take a turn the way this team is going to get defeated. Okay, and then over here, Sam as is that healer? I thought you'd have him skirmisher, but that looks like healer to me. Yes, that looks like a healer. I think Sam should be a skirmisher. I definitely think he should be a skirmisher, not a healer. So, let's change those ISOs, get her out of here and get Kestrel on this team, and then use the whole team on offense. I think this is a pretty bad waste and a bad way to start out your lineup. So I'm going to go with a C- on this team. It hurts looking at it. Okay, team number 2. This is an Emmarauder defense. You've subbed in Ultron and Doc Ock to replace Mystique and Sabretooth. Perfectly fine. Nothing going on here. Let's see. Striker, Fortifier on Sinister. That's unusual. I think he should be a healer. I think you're going to get more value out of him as a healer in other places. And then healer, and Fortifier on Strife. So make Strife War ready. Change Sinister to a healer. Otherwise, you're not doing anything wrong. It's a decent filler team. You might consider starting to break this team up using Emma with Eternals on offense or hybrid defenses, something like that. This team's just, Shadowlands and half a dozen other things can beat this team no matter what. I kind of like Ultron in here. It's a different twist on it. He's a plug-and-play character, and you got him built up, so it's fine. It's whatever. You don't have anybody placing vulnerables, by the way. You got a striker with no vulnerables on the field, so that kind of sucks. But I don't know who you change to place vulnerables, unless you wanted to... Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. It's just a filler team, but I need you to change those ISOs, and the placement is okay on that, so I'm just going to give you a B for that. Here we go with the Axeman. Okay, I think right off the bat, let's go with a placement change with the Axeman. I want to see Bishop in the middle. So swap places with Jubilee and Bishop. That'll put Iceman and Kitty on either side of Bishop, so they'll be taking the splash damage. It's 2 opportunities to give Beast some speed up. She's really dodgy though, so she can usually survive. He has a revive, so if he dies, he'll come back. So it gives you opportunities to keep the team in play. But then you're going to be speeding up this massive beast with 7 red stars that you have here. Striker, skirmisher, healer. I think on defense, having him as a healer is okay. But really the best build I've found for almost any setting is going to be Striker on Bishop, Skirmisher on everybody else. Believe it or not, that technically seems to be working the best in almost every situation. But I have Jubilee as a Striker. I'm still getting a lot of value out of it. It's a very close second pick. And for a defensive team, having Beast as a healer is probably okay too. But yeah, let's just do a placement change. And the ISOs are good enough that I'm not going to dock you any points there. You might want to think about bringing up some of your skirmishers to that level 3 blue, the 2.3 ISO. and then you can bring up Bishop to the 2.3 striker, but always bring up your skirmishers before you bring up the strikers so that you have double vulnerable on the field. A 2.3 striker by himself is pretty much pointless. Yeah, I kind of like what you're doing here. I'm going to give you an A- for that. Just get the placement change is the important thing. Black Order. Interesting placement. I think you should swap Corvus Glaive with Thanos. Put Thanos next to Cull Obsidian. That way splash damage hits Thanos and it makes Cull Obsidian retaliate more. I don't think you need Fortifier on Cull Obsidian. I think you should change him to a Raider or a Striker. I think you'll get more damage out of him. Those retaliation attacks don't place vulnerables, so Skirmisher isn't a good choice for him. Striker for added damage boost. Raider for when he does his basic attack, he is hitting multiple people, but I think Striker's probably the best. It doesn't really matter. A lot of this team has very flexible ISOs, especially Thanos himself. You can pretty much make Thanos any of the 5. I prefer Raider though, so I think you should leave him there. Yeah, let's just do the placement change, and then good job, you got Skirmisher on Maw. I hate when people put Healer on him, so good job on that. I'm gonna say A- on this. Change that ISO, give a placement swap. The Fortifier on Cull Obsidian could be frustrating, so it's not a big deal. If you don't want to change it, you could leave him as Fortifier. I just think Striker's the way to go. Team number 5 is a Symbiotes team. You have 4 Strikers and 1 person putting out vulnerables. That's not going to work at all. Let's go with either Raider or Skirmisher on Symbiote Spider-Man. That'll probably be a good enough change. Yeah, look at all those level 3 strikers and only 1 level 3 skirmisher. See, had you gone level 2.2 strikers on all these people and a 2.3 on Carnage, then he would be putting out 2 vulnerables and they'd only be getting soaked up 1 at a time, and it would work a little bit better. As is, man, it's just not very effective. I would definitely change Symbiote Spider-Man to either Raider or that Skirmisher, so that he's, the Skirmisher gives him the focus boost to really land those stuns and stuff, and the negative effects, if I can get past my own tongue. And then the Raider is just, we're realizing the Raider is just a really powerful ISO. And for somebody who's bouncing around and getting those chains, those AoE attacks and stuff like that, it really works for him quite well. So I think change that ISO. Even at this power level, it would be worth it. I know that they're being replaced by the Web Warriors, but you're probably still using them in Doom Raids, and I think you're going to get more value out of him, especially in Doom Raids. Like when they have that high resistance check, that Skirmisher is going to come in handy. So change that ISO. I'm going to go with an A- on this. All right, we got a Doom defense. This is something a little different. You replaced Yo-Yo with Zemo. Whatever. I mean, he's clearing the positive effects on the enemy team, maybe landing a block. Like, are you protecting against an Eternals coming in here? Is that what we're trying to do? Might work. I mean, it might, strip that offense down, which makes them hit Doom, and Doom goes into the sweet spot and pops off, so it could work. I wouldn't take my Eternals into this team just for that reason. I think Kestrel's going to be overkill. I think this whole team is kind of overkill. Somebody's going to come into this with like an Infinity Watch or something. So take Kestrel off of this team. You could put, heck, you could put Crystal in on this team, or Yo-Yo, right? Because are any of these defenders? Are any of these protectors? No, I don't think so. So you could put Yo-Yo in place of Kestrel, or you could put Crystal in place of Kestrel, depending on their power level. Crystal might just get blown off the field and be pointless, but if she survives an opening attack, she could be useful. You may want to move your Silver Surfer someplace else. This is just a huge team. I think Yo-Yo is probably your best bet. With the synergy with Black Bolt, yeah, get Kestrel out of here, put Yo-Yo in here. I think that's going to help you out a lot more. That's what I think you should do. Also, 4 Strikers, 1 Raider. So yeah, if Yo-Yo was in here as a skirmisher, she'd be putting more of those vulnerables out for Doom to help, go into when he blows up. Or the other thing you can do is you could change Silver Surfer to a Raider. I know people don't like to hear that. It's very effective. It's very effective on teams like this where you have tons of strikers and not enough people putting out the vulnerable. You make him a Raider, you're getting mass damage out of him. When the AI is controlling him, you're not getting the value out of that striker ISO because a lot of times he's not going into a vulnerable, especially on this team where there's probably not that many vulnerables on the field. when you're controlling him, you can decide to do a basic instead of the special, or do a basic instead of the ultimate to pass off the negative effects and come back with the positive effects. But on an AI run defense, I think Raider's the way to go on that. So let's make those changes. This is a scary team, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with this team. Like, you look at it, you're like, wow, that's crazy. But we can do better by replacing Kestrel and putting in a more efficient Yo-Yo Skirmisher. And we could change him to a Raider, get more overall damage out of him. Like, if he's softening people up with that opener and Doom goes boom and wipes the other team off the mat, that's a win, you know? So, okay, let's make those changes. This is a great team, but we can do a lot better and be a lot more efficient. So I'm giving it a B. Here we go. New Warriors with Eternals. This is crazy good team. Should be used on offense. Like, this is a crazy good team. These are two teams that should be used on offense, in fact. Your Eternals with some junk like a Drax, so that they don't get targeted right off the bat and then just go into somebody and blow them up, you know? And then the New Warriors with like Emma and Surfer. That's a great defense. Or you could be using the same thing on offense. Those are other things you can do. So again, you have a really scary team here, really well built. Like, these are all the right ISOs. You've got Skirmisher on him, but you've got vulnerables coming off of both of their alts. So you got plenty of vulnerables on the field for these three strikers. So that's okay. Plenty of vulnerables on the field. It's a well-built team. I just think you're going to get more value spreading it out, having 2 offensive teams or 2 defensive teams with the Eternals. I don't really like using the Eternals on defense because everybody just goes into them with Eternals on offense and blows them up. So whatever. Yeah, it's good. You're doing everything right here. I just think that you should be doing other things instead. So I'm going to give that a B+. It's a very scary defense. If you like it, if you're getting lots of defensive victories, then keep it by all means. I think that you can get as many defensive victories with another version of this, or 2 different versions getting you even more. Team number 8, Infinity Watch. We've got Moondragon as the healer, and then the correct build. On defense, Moondragon as a healer is fine. It's fine. Let's get Warlock. Let's make him war ready, and then I can give you an A for this team. As is, I think it's an A-. Oh, you know what? Let's go with a B+ on this. Move Adam Warlock to the outside. There are some different teams that go into this, and it's very frustrating when Warlock and Moondragon are to the outside because of of taunts and stuff. So let's try that. Yeah, B+, get them war ready, a little placement change. You're not doing anything wrong here. I think you could probably stop investing in this team. There's not a lot of reason to continue bringing them up other than as a war offense team. All right, team number 9, Heroes for Hire. We need him to be war ready. Maybe move Shang-Chi to the other side. There's a lot of debate going on placement. I think we can all agree that Luke Cage needs to be to one side. I think most of us will agree that that Sean needs to be on the other side. And then a smaller margin of people think that Iron Fist should be next to Luke Cage. And then it gets really dicey. But for the most part, you're pretty close. I think you should move Shang-Chi to the other side of the field, and otherwise you're fine. I like Iron Fist as a skirmisher. I think there's more value in the vulnerable being on the field rather than the healer. The teams that are going into this are either killing them where they revive and the rejuve doesn't pop off, so it's just the kit-based healing that's improved. And he does have a lot of kit-based healing, so it's something to be said. But the other thing is a lot of people come in with heal block. The WepX team is putting heal block on this team, and then you're getting no value out of that healer. So putting the vulnerable on the field that your strikers are going into, that your other people are getting that extra 10% damage off of, I think that's more valuable than the healer ISO 8. And you haven't built him up that high, so if you're going to make him war ready, you should probably change that now. Otherwise, the other ISOs are great. I like Fortifier on Luke Cage for the die and revive thing, same reason. So I'm going to go A- on this, change that ISO and or change the placement, and I'm going to be much happier. Team number 10 is the WepX team. I like this team on offense, but it is a very tough team on defense. Yeah, it looks good. You could change Wolverine to a striker. Some people like it that way, some people don't, so I'm not going to dock you for it. They're war ready. You've got good placement, a good power investment in all this team. I think it's great. I'm going to give you an A for that team. It's really good. Yeah, actually not a bad set of defenses. Everything either works or works too well. Like this is just probably overkill and could be spread out. Same thing here. I think this is overkill, and I think you should bring Kestrel back to that other team, use that team on offense. So yeah, some touch-ups that you could do, but otherwise you're doing great. These are some great builds. Maybe not this one. You know, I think this is a real waste, a real liability. It's a great team, and it's just going to waste because of the summons and because of the ways that people can counter it. So, okay, this has been Denver's Defense Up. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. Subscribe for more videos. I'm putting out a lot these days. Also, if you want your defense featured on Defense Up, you better get on the list because I've got like 10 people on the list already. It just suddenly jumped out. So get yourself on the list by visiting my Discord. Links in the description. And then, yeah, you can have your defense featured and we'll give it a grade and see how you can get it running a little bit better. Remember, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too. And I will catch you next time. Bye.